everybody. Julie Murphy here. 25 plus years of being a financial planner. I've learned a couple things, and today I'm going to share with you 5 fun financial foreplays. I know, right? Can you really put finances and foreplay and fun all in the same sentence? Well, I'm going to prove that we can. Why? Because we deserve to have fun with our money. Foreplay, right? So don't forget to hit that subscribe button, like, and notification bell. Why? Because I'm going to help you get to a life that you absolutely love. So as I'm going through my list of financial foreplay, I really want you to think about this because we take our money way too seriously. We stress about it. We have anxiety about it. And these 5 perspectives that I want you to give, I'll even call them 5 activations of how to have better financial foreplay. Because why not? Okay, ready? Here's number 1. Does it feel good? Now, how does this relate to money? Well, money, when we start to go in and let's say we go to buy something, or we go into a relationship, or we go into an employer, because it could apply to any of these. You know if it financially feels good or not. So as an example, if you turn around and take a job and you took it because you had to have cash flow, but you really don't like the job that you're going to do you really think that you're actually going to wind up getting the raise that you want? That's the thing. Without, does it feel good financial foreplay, you're not going to get those raises. You're not going to get those bonuses. You're not going to get, or the spouse that, you know what, if at the beginning of the marriage when you were dating them, they didn't hold their own financially, guess what? They're probably not going to. And does that feel good? Like, you may like to be the person that holds that container, but you may not like to hold that financial container. So the first financial foreplay you have to ask yourself is, does it feel good? All right. You ready for number 2? Number 2, does it measure up? I know. I just had to have some fun here. So does it measure up? Meaning, where are you at financially? How much cash is coming in the door? How much cash is going out the door? And is more cash going out the door than coming in the door? And what kind of havoc is that going to create? Is it shrinking or is it growing? Pardon the pun. But how does it measure up? You want to take a look. I cannot tell you how many times I've met with people before they're getting married, and this is even, second marriages. They have yet to have the financial conversations. I'm like, what? How do you not know? And it's about have the courage to have the conversations. Like, where are you at? You might be the one that's embarrassed about where you're at financially because maybe you feel like you've made some mistakes. But here's the thing. It's not about how you measured up in the past. It's about how are you measuring up today, because you can only control today. Yesterday is yesterday and it's gone. There is nothing that you can do about it. So I really want you to sit there and say, okay, how are they measuring up today? So if you're hiring an employee, or you're entering into a marriage, or you're looking to go into business with somebody, how do they measure up? I always tell people, I'm like, can you tell me about if I were to look at your credit report today, what does it look like? And people be like, I don't know, it's probably a mess. You ask an indirect question, people give you a very direct answer because it feels safe enough for them to just say it. And they don't really realize that you're actually asking the question of how are you measuring up? All right. Number 3, are you ready for your 3rd financial foreplay? Does it remind you of your past? So as the foreplay is going and it's all happening, does it remind you too much of your past? Because if so, you may want to run like hell. I'm just saying. What I mean by that from a financial perspective, because get your mind out of the gutter. What I mean by that is Do they have a whole lot of, when I talk about your finances, your financial past are the debt levels that you have. Usually when somebody is driven by debt and they're in their cycle of processing debt, because processing debt, I mean, when you have a lot of debt, it just means they have a lack of freedom in your life. You could come up with all the good financial reasons why you took out that debt and all the reasons why. I like to say that those are just stories. But if it's reminding you way too much of your past, meaning that you've had relationships with people who handled money like that, or if you had family members that handled their money in a certain way, and because we tend to attract what's familiar to us, and you may have left your family and created a whole new, but the problem is you're going to attract the same thing because you're used to interfacing with those type of people unless you've done your subconscious work. So it really is about, does it remind you of your past? And again, we can apply this to not necessarily only like romantic relationships for finance, but you can also apply this to if you're an employer or if you're a boss or even being an employee and you're interviewing somewhere. It was fascinating to me in 2008, 2009 bear market when we watched companies with executives that went bankrupt, that there's a culture there. So if you're at a past employer and you tend to be the person who held it all together for the other people, that means you're a huge giver and you've surrounded yourself with a lot of takers. And so you're probably the one paying more of the bill when you go out to eat with people. Like, these are the financial patterns that if you want to keep them in your past, we have to stop recreating them in the present moment. So when you're interviewing for a job or you're the person interviewing somebody for the job, ask them what their personal financials look like. Do they understand like how much is in their checking account? Do they have goals? Do they have savings accounts set up with intentions with those goals? Things of that nature. Because in 2008 and 2009, when I found that the executives of these companies that went bankrupt, the executives were also personally fiscally dysfunctional. Fascinating. Because it's a culture, it's a community. Like attracts like. And so you tend to be the company that you keep. And if you're trying to walk away from your past, well, you don't want your new company, whether that's a person or an actual employer or a marriage, you don't want it to be like the one that you left financially because you're trying to create a whole new reality. So be aware of that, because that could make your financial foreplay not so fun, right? Or it might be really fun for a very short period of time, and then you're like, shoot, why did I do that? All right. You ready for number 4? Financial foreplay number 4. This is, you have to allow it to build up. Ramp that sucker up. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You want to have it build. And what do I mean by that? You get married slowly and divorced quickly. Why? Because you don't really know what you're buying. And once you realize that it's not working, cut your ties and cut bait. So that's why you want to allow it to build up in this financial foreplay number 4, because you want it to build and build and build, and you don't want it to go bust. And if it is going to go bust, go slow so that it doesn't put you in a precarious situation, if you will. All right. Financial foreplay number 5. This is about balance, right? Are you in a financial situation where you're a huge giver and you tend to attract takers? Are you a huge doer and you surround yourself with people who just kind of sit on your coattails? Financially speaking, I see this a lot with professional women, like off the charts. And I see it a lot with professional women who, because they're just so happy because they gave their heart and soul to building their careers. And then all of a sudden, they all, for some reason, wind up with like narcissistic men who just sit on their coattails. And so if you have that pattern yourself, being a huge giver, Watch the fact that you're not surrounding yourself with big takers, because this is about you really, in this foreplay component, you don't really want somebody taking everything and you got nothing, right? That's no fun in foreplay either. So this is why number 5 with financial foreplay is to make sure you have something that's a little bit more in harmony and balance, where you have it giving and taking, if you know what I mean. All right, you guys. I hope that one was fun for you, because I'm trying to be creative and apply money here so that we can raise your vibration about money and not take it so seriously, so that you can actually get out of your own way to create exactly the life that you absolutely love. So don't forget, please hit that subscribe button, like, and notification bell, and go to juliemurphy.com. You know why? Because I'm going to start doing group coaching once a week. And come aboard. I am here to help you guys get to this place that you want to be, of how to unplug from where you're at to plug into where you want to go, and create that map in between of how you get to a life that you absolutely love. And don't forget, if you go to awakenyourwealthbook.com, you can get my book for free. You just have to pay for your own shipping. And I do have a workbook there and other online courses if you need more support to get you to where it is that you need to be. And we'll talk to y'all soon. Thanks for coming today. Bye.